What is up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. I am your host, Edward Anderson of Everybody Hates Black Men. And basically, what we're going to do today, I'm going to talk for a few minutes. Hopefully, it's less than an hour. What time is it? 11 a.m. I do need to get to sleep. Um, but I want to have a conversation about my reaction to Kevin Samuels' video. Shout out to him. He's, I think, 15K away. And I'm going to keep it real. I saw some of it. I kind of went through some of the interviews. I don't always watch his monologues. Most of the time I don't. This is one I've seen enough of it that I definitely want to go back through it. And it's interesting because him doing a male show, I wanted to see, okay, was the numbers going to still hold? And they actually did. So that's great. A lot of people don't really see how Kevin interacts with the guys. They haven't seen that. So I'm glad that, the men and the women could. I'm curious as to what the comments are. Not really. No, they're not. They're not outliers. I disagree with that. And it's interesting given that I did a commentary on Anton and him bringing the guy up he brought up. And to be fair, like I said, to Anton, he did say some red pill men. He just titled red pill. So that was what that was. So I'll probably, it ain't even about me privating it, but I'll let the views get what that gets and then slow it. But a lot of guys, I think that's a really needed channel. That's a really needed stream. Now, if you notice, you had a couple of types of dudes, and that's why I know they're not outliers. Number one, you had dudes that really wanted to talk to him. A lot of the stuff came down to two things. One is how dudes feel about, literally feel, because that's the word they use, how they feel about how women are receiving it. That was the last call. And then you had folks that were talking about the idea of the separation of classes, which is basically that certain men are better than other men as far as socioeconomic status. And that is an issue with black men. I've said that on this channel. I've observed that being in this space. I've observed that in real life. Black men have a very big problem with being hierarchy. And the reason why that is fucking important and how that correlates with like the last caller is because black men prefer the women determine the hierarchy. And if you notice that black men, ADOS black men, they uphold the values that women like. When I say the values that women like, for instance, you hear dudes talk about mouthpiece. You hear dudes talk about, and by the way, no, I'm not going to do that because that's going to start something. But you hear dudes talk about mouthpiece. You hear dudes talk about the ability to manipulate a female's emotions. At the end of the day, those skill sets don't build shit. Those skill sets don't have long-term value. They have very short, specific value. That's why a lot of the guys that can do that can't talk to another dude and investing in them, whether it's money, resources, whatever, because those skill sets don't always translate. Talking to a bitch ain't logical. Mind is going to have you logical questions. And and then if you notice the dude with the hat and the dreads, and he was really talking that, he was talking around it and not being direct. But when he did be direct, and Kevin called it out about the socioeconomic status and people talk about average men and shit like that, you notice that's a dude that, and granted, you're on Kevin's show, you need to look presentable, otherwise Kevin might clown you. But the truth is, you can tell by what he wears. You can tell how what a dude wears is informed by the reaction he's looking to get from women. As a prime thing is what he wears. You can tell. You also had the dude, but those dudes are not outliers. They're not outliers. Those are representative of generally what we see as the problem. whether the dude was on there. There's really two calls I want to focus on, and that's that socioeconomic call, and also the call in the end that kind of went long. The call where the dude was he kept saying feel. He's apparently a marketing manager. So he understands marketing, he understands sales to a certain extent, but he kept talking about how people receive shit. So here's the thing. The problem with, I get what he was trying to say. See, at the end of the day, I don't know what exactly he markets or sells, but his end outcome is for women to buy, for people to buy shit. If that is true, then he's going to focus on what I've talked about on this channel many times before, how to put people in a state of buying things. Here's the problem. When you're dealing with something that operates outside of the rules of commercialism, when you deal in the topics of things that are like nonprofit, things that you need is not always things that you want. What does that mean? Generally, commercialism operates in things that you want, in the realm of things that you want. But needing to have a black community, well, there's not a lot of commercial value in that, is there? Which is why you don't see black people buy black, or they don't put a higher on it. That requires something different. That requires values. So you have to be able to build this stuff up outside of the realm of commercialism. And everything he was saying, that's why he kept on going back to the receiver. That's the one thing Kevin didn't jump on. And I'm not saying he should have, but he kept going back to the receive. They're not receiving it, they're not receiving it, they're receiving it. This is not some shit that needs to be sold. This is not commercialism. There's a big reason why, at least at this point, Kevin doesn't sell shit. He has said that. Because no, he wants to take that off the table. Now you flip that and you throw that to Derrick Jackson, buy my book, buy this, buy that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're selling a book or selling something that you don't have people's best interests in heart. But also generally, if you remove that off the table, well, you remove that off the table. So he kept on. So and the thing that struck me about him was he is, you listen to Grinch. Oh man, fuck, Grinch needs to do a goddamn video on that last call. That motherfucker is literally the personification of everything that the gynocracy would want to spit out. Like if everything balanced out and Thanos did his Thanos snap and then everything became normal, they didn't know what came before, that's the type of dude they would spit out. A dude is very unsure of himself, a dude that at the end of the day, he is not stupid, but what governs him is feelings. Even though I understand what he was trying to say, the fact that he really couldn't get past the emotional thing that he had. He had they're not receiving it. So he basically said, fuck the outcomes. Them receiving it is what's important. That makes no sense. And another thing that jumped out to me about that call was that he said that he noticed how he said his mother was strong-willed. Then he said his father. Well, my mother is a very strong-willed woman. That shows you that's what sticks out to him more. Which, shout out to SWP. That dude that called that last caller, his dad bent the knee to his mom. I'm not gonna say his dad is a bitch outside of the household, because I don't know. But I will say this, in that household, that motherfucker acquiesced to his wife. He can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but you don't get a man like that, if he didn't. And shout out to SWP, because SWP was very candid about that. And I'm telling you, a lot of these niggas, I don't believe Gabe A is like that. I don't believe Georgia Boy is like that. So I'm not saying every black man is like that, but I'm gonna tell you, a lot of these niggas that are married are submissive like that. And that nigga needs therapy, because he needs to get that fixed. His father was a simp. I'm getting beyond I get the simp term, but what I want y'all to understand, I want y'all to think beyond just the word. Because really, dude, simping is generally a process of acquiring a female, not so much once you already have it. But excellent comment. Appreciate it, Morpheus, for the $2 super chat. Shout out to Deswuvius. It works for females. To see the consistency that he's not one sided. The embarrassment came from the niggas calling in. Absolutely. And it does. And you know what? I'm glad he held off on it. Shout out for the $5. I'm glad he held off on it because this is the Kevin a lot of us know. You know. F Holiday for the channel recommendations and your content. Thanks, Edward. No, absolutely. I definitely try to share the yeah, we know grown man business. You ain't doing that. And shout out to Sub-Zero as well. But my point, you loved it. You loved this shit. Because I'm gonna tell you, you know, Kevin was in the dark and shit, doing that shit was funny. I gotta give it to like I don't care. Like, this is a good show. I don't care if y'all don't watch his shit. This is a good show. This one was a good show. But yeah, man. Dude, I mean, and he kept on, it's like he didn't even come at it at another angle. He just kept on saying the same thing over and over and over again. And even when Kevin called out on the fields, he kept saying, I feel. And even the mannerisms, all of that. And I'm not going, and it's not so much it's one thing, it's the sum total of everything. And he kept on, I'm worried about the majority, which I get as a marketer. But at the end of the day, Kevin addressed that 10% deals with the whole. But, I gotta, and you can tell it bothers him that these women don't. And this is the shit I'm talking about. Is dudes like that, the shit bothers them that women, they look for women as their North Star. Women are leading him. And not necessarily telling him what to do, but women are leading him like an audience would lead, like a customer base would lead somebody. It's kind of like that, where he's looking for women and their bitching and crying or lack thereof to tell him what's right and what's wrong. But what he doesn't understand is these women don't fucking know what they want. They don't know what they want because they don't know themselves. And so you looking at them for leadership is going to have your ass running in circles like a fucking idiot. Now, some dudes do that shit because they're looking for the outcome of sex. But when you take that off the table, what are you looking for? So when you take sex off the table, why the fuck are you giving a fuck about what women think? Especially when the outcomes are going in the right direction. And see, another thing too is I'm like, dude, do you not really think, shout out to Jada Black, you don't get to as many subscribers as Kevin got on Men Alone. Kevin's maxed that out at about like 100, 120. And then he got boosted. That's mostly women listening to that. Even in that show, it was a lot of women listening to that. So you're paying attention to the women that are the loudest. And you're affected because you see your mama in that. And because your dad never, or your father was never able, he probably never saw his mother acquiesce to his father. He only saw that. I know he only saw that shit one way. So he's carrying that in his life today. And the fact that he's like, he can't see that. And he likes Kevin. That's the crazy part. This is not a dude that don't. Yeah, I understand your message. And he probably took he probably took in Kevin's stuff and let women listen to it. And he's got a problem and he's got an issue. I would tell that dude personally. Well, no, they have an issue with Jason too. It don't matter. Jason would call that a disciplinary problem. So he looks for women's permission. That's not what being a man is. We can have differences of opinion. That damn sure is not what being a man is. That's not going to fly because you're letting women lead you indirectly. And it's very obvious. And as far as the other dude is always bitching and crying about money, the dude, well, not bitching and crying, but the other dude that was crying about socioeconomic status, that shit, y'all got to get out of that. Look, man, I understand, like, when black women talk about blue collar shit and they talk shit about blue collar brothers. Well, first of all, I have a problem with that because I know a lot of blue collar brothers that do even simple shit as far as landscaping that make hella money. 80, 90,000. Hell, I know certain people that work for the post office that make almost like say 80,000, 90,000. I'm talking about in North Carolina, and that money moves, not knowing New York. So a lot of what they say about blue collar people is not accurate. That's my issue. It's not accurate. Hell, you could argue military folks, technically, you might as well say occupy blue collar space in many ways. It's not accurate. It's not a so, and then also it's this thing where they complain about their outcomes, but they're the ones taking all this shit. Like, it's funny. They'll talk about, well, I need a real man. I need a roughneck. Well, blue collar folks are going, the roughnecks are going to be in the blue collar trades, but y'all hate on them because y'all want this fucking status. Why? That's the crazy shit. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. But that's different than black men having a problem with certain socioeconomic statuses. And this is why dudes tend to want women to decide. And then if women decide the way they don't want, they start bitching and complaining. They did the same shit with skin tone. When like black women like light skinned dudes more, black men had a fucking problem with that shit. And you can tell there's a genetic memory with that with a lot of black men, that if you scratch that, if you scratch that itch, it'll come out. And I've seen it. And you see the same thing. And a lot of these dudes will protect certain like subversive cultural patterns in order, because they want the community to change, but they don't want the community to change with them not in it. They don't want the community to change and then their version, shout out to the Loki on TV show, their variant not be in the community. They would rather the community stay the same and their variant be where it is and actually change. And he talked about that earlier when he was talking about the different aspects of masculinity, the roughneck, the bad boy, and the pretty boy. And you got a lot of dudes, and so you see it come out, and they like to hide behind dudes that may talk the blue collar talk, which I understand, but they'll hide behind those dudes, and they'll talk about, well, man, it shouldn't even it's about what a real man is, and a real man. But I understand something: the common denominator of a real man is production. No matter what you're doing. And if you got dudes that they're trying to talk about manhood and they're not producing consistently, they're bullshitting. And you got a lot of dudes that they like when they talk about that spiritual shit, when I hear dudes that they try to talk about manhood as opposed to like, money, and they're not talking about consistent production as a counterbalance to that, I know they're full of shit. And what they're really talking about is they need to be owed some sexual attention without producing. And this is why I've always liked Jason Black's content, because Jason Black has always been ruthless about that. He's always, and if you notice, Kevin is pretty ruthless about that too. You got a lot of dudes that they want to use game and dealing with a female's emotions as a cheat code to get around being a producer. Like I said, I jumped around in the show a little bit, so I'm only speaking on what I've seen, but it's a good show. It will allow the grown folks to kind of be in the room, because what some women might try to do is they might try to say, see, these niggas ain't shit, so that's why we do what we do. No, that's not what that show was for. That show is not for, well, black women got to do what they got to do because black men don't got no power. That's not what that show is for. And a lot of women, and at the end of the day, if black women want to justify being losers because they want to say it's black men, then they're going to get left in the fucking dust. Shout out to Travarius Wiley. Go back and listen to MC Light's Roughneck and Brandy's I Want to Be Down. Black women's mating choices have always been this way. That's actually not true. That's actually not true. Because if you go, because number one, Brandy was in the 90s. And that song with Roughneck was probably in the late 80s, early 90s. The truth is, in the 80s, black women had a different mating pattern. So, yeah, maybe since you were alive or you were, like, post-pubescent and sexually active, that may have been true because the cutoff is 93 is where the switch really happened. But pre-93, that's not what it was. And also, even though a song has been made about quote-unquote roughnecks, understand that is not always, that's one song. That's not always the majority. That's not how it was. It wasn't like that. But see, a lot of y'all, that's the only world y'all know. Remember, I'm 34. I'm post-crack era. I'm the generation outside. I was born in that generation, outside of that. So a lot of dudes, they think this is all it is and this is all it can be. But shit switches. I'm not saying what it should or should not switch. I don't give a shit. But what I'm saying is a lot of y'all try to act like, well, this is always. No, it's not how it's always been. Because just like the black community used to be a lot more married. The black community has always been fluid. It's been denigrating recently. So no, that's not correct. Just like how the dating market pre-2010, from 2001 to 2010, is completely different than like post-2010 dealing with social media. Completely different markets. Even though there's social media back then too, sure. It didn't define shit like it defines it now. Anyway, but I wanted to give my initial reaction to that. That stuff was great. I definitely invite you all to go check it out. It's a little bit of a different feel. I hope he does more. You got to remember too, he had people that disagreed. And at the end of the day, if people want to say, well, I act this way because this is niggas we got to pick from, sure. Fine. If that's what you want to say to justify you being a loser, fine. But the question is, it ain't enough good black men or all the other crap. Well, my thing is, Kevin doesn't require you to date black men. So the question is, can you date anybody? Shout out to Adam Chains. Make sure y'all hit me on, let me make sure I give with my fucking tablet. I want to start giving people their proper for representing. Shout out to Roxy Beckles. She did a video talking about motherfuckers unsubscribing from a Maryland Negra because she lost 35 pounds. Because these folks are in their fucking feelings. Shout out to Dar with the $10. I appreciate that. Like I said, shout out to Xanatos again. Also, shout out to Mr. November. You need to check out the movie November Man with Pierce Brosnan. Shout out for the $5 off the chains. Shout out to Anthony Tyler for the $2.50. That's always great. Remember, in Cash App, it all goes to me. Shout out to Vernon for the $20. Just to make sure I catch up on that. Them niggas was struggling on the show. I mean, yeah, EA Sports, he in the fucking game. Haha, yeah, that used to be funny. I said EA Sports, it's in the game. Let me guess, the guys who caught in Kevin show, baby, his kids, basement dwellers, stoop kids. No Xanatos. Maybe the simps, but no, not necessarily. No, not necessarily. You should check out some of the interviews, just to check out the interviews. Azrael Daywalker. And what it's going to show is, it's going to show that the men will be just as critical as the men, if not more so. Azrael says, my only problem with Kevin is the belief that creating families with ADOS women is key. These women are socialized to not be wives. You're trying to fit a circle peg. I mean, yeah, man, but obviously he has a show to run. And I mean, what you want it to be SYSBM, the TV show? I mean, for that, here's the thing. For you guys that are SYSBM, guess what? You all get a walking infomercial as to why you all are SYSBM. And I'm going to be honest with you, Kevin's probably the best advertisement for SYSBM. You all could not pray to God and get a better advertisement for SYSBM. Kevin does so much more for you all being there than not being there. How'd you guess, Clutch? No, they weren't Bebe's kids like that. It wasn't that bad. Of course, low-hanging fruit. No, it wasn't. I think y'all are kind of... No, it wasn't that bad. The thing about it is, you got to remember, Kevin talks to detractors. He doesn't talk to people that he agrees with. So, You're gonna get that. Yeah, the dude who capes and the women would not give him any play. Absolutely, man. And he said, yeah, and it's sad he don't even understand that. And the thing about it is, that's a dude that needs a fucking dating coach, but he actually needs something more than that. But he needs somebody. He needs therapy. I'm not even gonna front. He needs therapy first. He needs to read Mode 1 Second. He needs therapy first. Really some inner game work. He really needs something like a boot camp. He needs something like for real. He needs something like some damn like Scared Straight. Then he needs to go and read Mode 1 and the possibility of sex. Then he needs to go get like a dating coach. He needs like levels. Because the thing is, it's not like a lot of that's inner shit, man, for real. That's a lot. That would be expected from a guy who would call in. But yeah, that all goes back to his household. You're not gonna tell me nothing different. DJ Vlad is the only person who has hit the bullseye when it comes to the problem with Samuels and Manosphere's message. Vlad brought it up and Kevin flipped it. What did he deflect? What did he deflect? No, you gonna need to explain that shit. Because I listened to the full interview and DJ Vlad didn't say shit. What did he deflect? I want to see that. You don't get to throw that up there and then just not answer the question. Xander with the Z, yo, that show. What's up, good man? Morpheus. Well, Beta, then you're welcome. There's a big legit disagreement. What really moved the needle forward. Vlad brought it up and Kevin deflected. The convo would need to be had. What deflection? You talking around shit. Say what the fuck. Say it. I don't like that. When you keep saying, you keep like doing this ... Say what the disagreement is. Blaze, that is what you are signing up for, marrying these broads. They will be, well, you know what, man? Like, my thing is, dudes are going to do what the fuck dudes are going to do. And if y'all walk into that shit, that's on y'all. And I can give you the right information, but I'm not going to be invested like a lot. Because, see, a lot of black men get this thing, here, man, niggas need to stop simping. Well, the reality of the situation is, what needs to, the kinetic constant, the more dudes that do come off, the more consequent. It's not going to help the dudes that are simping. It's going to hurt them because those are going to be the dudes that get scammed. So the reality is, I'm not investing in dudes not simping, because the reality is most of those dudes that have options, if you take away all the dudes with options, then and when I say options, I mean economics and stuff, you won't have to worry about that. Most dudes were young. That is true, and that's important. The Blade, exactly, Blades. It's a war of attrition. Yeah, and I like, but the thing about it is, like I said, y'all get too invested in some of this stuff, like for real. Y'all like I need these niggas to do, like, it ain't gonna be like that. They gonna come in the time they come. But to be honest with you, this stuff is moving a lot faster than what was predicted. Monique whispered in their ears and called them queens, and they wanted her canceled. Tone wouldn't change. Again, no, it wouldn't. And that tone shit, that shit has already been debunked. So whenever you hear somebody use tone, they either are ignorant to what's going on or they just can't let that shit go. They need a woman to tell them shit is right. That's honestly, any dude that's talking about tone in the black community and the gynocracy, you already know they pretty much already bought off. The women where it was going in, they couldn't wait to get even. I mean, I don't care if they were or not. I mean, that's not what, honestly, you got people that they're petty, and those pettiness, like I say it in reverse. Like when dudes are just going in on women, because it is dudes in his chat where they just go in on women just to be going in on women. And that's really not what this is for. I don't care if you want to be SYSBM or not SYSBM. The reality is the points are the points. You undermine your points when y'all want to be petty. Motherfuckers are grown. Like, for real. I don't understand why y'all can't fucking, like, why some of y'all can't fucking understand that. And I'm not talking about y'all in my chat, but you get what I'm saying. That's childish. And it's childish when they do it, and I've called it out when men do it. But really, I could care less, because the thing is, I'm giving proper analysis. Kevin does not do what he does just to do it. And for people that don't understand it, they're not hearing the message, but whatever. They'll serve one way or the other. Jack, shout out to Rick and Morty too, by the way. Jack Queen, I laughed all show. Kev dimmed the lights like Spider. Yeah, that shit was funny. Yeah, what's up, Game Changer? Game Changer's back. Make sure y'all subscribe to him. JR, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you to explain what you was talking about because I'm curious. Because you sitting there talking. Because I looked at that whole interview and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Vlad didn't really say shit. Vlad tried to get loud talking about, well, women build this, and I have a black woman as an executive. And then, so you keep on talking about deflected, but you deflecting right now. Another basket of chumps who aren't anywhere close to hitting the real big holes in Sammy's message. Just another clip. Yeah, I'm still waiting for what you were talking about so I can speak on that. I have been saying it was a problem with simps when it comes to men. Tonight proved that. Well, I mean, the thing about it is dudes don't. The problem when it comes to simps is black men have this need to they feel, and that's the problem, they don't solve the sexual access problem. As a black man, even if you want to be pro-black, you say, okay, I'm gonna have sex with black women. It's not black sex with black women. I'm gonna have black children, but ultimately, as far as sexual access, I would not allow no bitch to define that. To control that, meaning I'm gonna solve the sexual access problem. When dudes don't do that, you open yourself up to thirst. So when you're a type of dude where it's like, I'm gonna be loyal to black women and only deal with black women, well, then you gotta adhere to what black women's rules are, and that's a choice. Shout out to Kareem. That's what nobody wants to say, and that's where the simping starts. Iman Perry, some of them dudes was just looking for their fate. Yeah, that's true. 15 minutes of fame. Good man. Corey Blake, they want to be dominated. Israel the Daywalker. Yeah, those dudes were in their early 30s. Good man. Yeah. Corey Blake to take charge. Did you think you on back? The dude was simply protecting his single mom. I can respect that. Man, I don't give a fuck about that. Because honestly, he didn't have to call in. More, bruh, his pops was a bait. Yeah. And like I said, SWP talked about that in his own personal situation, man. And even though he didn't come up like that, the reality is that's what a lot of you ain't never seen your mom be checked not by your dad. You can tell he don't even know what the fuck that shit looks like. Yeah, they did. His dad, happy white. Yeah, exactly. And he said it. Yeah, man, she said sometimes you got to get fly. No, that's what you decided to do. I prefer the lady callers. I'm not going to lie. I would definitely like him to do this at least once every 2 weeks, if not once a week. Can you start a panel? No, because I got to go to sleep. I'll come back to this topic once I see all the calls. And then we can do a panel then. That man was a damn Uber driver, though. Well, I'm going to keep it real. Some Uber drivers make $6,000 a month. Now, I can't do that in North Carolina, but Glenda did a video on that. So it depends on what city you are. A lot of these gig economy motherfuckers are getting it how they live. It was like a game show for women to prove Kevin wrong. We had dudes calling in. Oh, yeah, I saw that one, too. I didn't even want to comment on that. He wanted and again, it's like he wanted bonus points from the bitches. And Kevin shut that shit down saying, look, man, I'm trying to call them male issues. And honestly, I don't want to hear black women talking about colorism where they defending being overweight. You can kiss my ass with that. Until you fix that bonnet shit, overweight shit, weave shit, we can't even bring colorism to the table. Colorism. I'm serious. Genetic memory. I'm dead ass serious. Kevin said he got 7 girlfriends tonight. Was fine. Yeah, he did. He said several. He said several. He didn't say 7. He said several. But I can see why you heard that. He said several, and he said I didn't want to pull rank on you. He was trying to be nice. Kevin was trying to be nice. Starscream, shout out to I ain't seen you in a minute. Starscream, the dude who came on to argue for colorism without. Yeah, man. Oh hell no, I don't agree with that. CJM, I'm sorry, we'd have to debate on that. I don't agree with that shit at all. I don't agree with that shit at all because production is not necessarily economic, although it's commonly associated with it. Yeah, you're right. If dudes shouldn't be judged about by production, then dudes shouldn't be getting pussy. Those dudes, if we're talking about like getting women to remove production out of the table, no, I don't agree with that at all. I don't. Now, if you want, I don't agree with that at all. You show me what community is built around that works. That's all I got to say on that. As well, the Daywalker being a producer doesn't absolve you from black female. I didn't say it does absolve you from black female fuckery. I am alpha. Angry man, different set of views on men being just. Well, I mean, okay, he can have a different set of views. What I would say straight up is, you show me a society built on that shit. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Show me any other race, and here or anywhere else is built on that bullshit. Anywhere, any ethnic group. Like, seriously. And that's what I was talking about, by the way, when I said that you got dudes that they want to, remember I always say, you got dudes that want the community to improve, but they don't want it to change. They want the shit to, I mean, I'm not even talking about him, because I said before, because y'all bringing that to me, I'm talking about what I've observed. And what I've observed is that a lot of black men prefer the bitches to choose. And that's why black men acquiesce to the bitch, whether you getting women or not. Whether you're getting women or not. And the dudes that are getting women are going to try to protect that. And the dudes that are not getting women are going to bitch. And talk about this is why they got an issue with Kevin and the high value man shit. Because they don't believe it should be a set hierarchy. See, CJM, if you want to talk about what the dudes don't do, that's what it is. Right there. By the way, we were just talking to BGS, and what did he say? What y'all were on BGS's Shatterpoint. What did he say? We was talking to a dude, I forget his name, played basketball, is very musically talented, has a lot of talent. Young dude. And he's about to turn into a Pookie because he's not motivated. You know why? Because he gets pussy just to show the fuck up, and his status is he used to play basketball a little bit, or he used to music. And then them niggas get into this situation where they don't produce. And BGS was talking about he got dudes like that in his family. They don't produce. And that's why that's a big reason. So when people want to talk about, well, the dudes need to do this and do that, and the one thing that we could actually make the argument, you notice how niggas bitch up with that, and they don't want to really have that conversation, because we've had those conversations. That was those Pookie and Ray Ray EDL fights. And that's where a lot of stuff started breaking up, because you realize you got dudes that they will protect that. And too many dudes have that mentality. They do. But no, I don't understand how that argument can be made. I want somebody to make that argument. Why production shouldn't matter. I want somebody to make that argument. I really would love to see somebody really try to make that argument. No, I told you, I didn't see everything. Now, as far as dudes that said black women is his enemy, what I would say to that is, why call Kevin's show then? Now, would I say black women are antagonistic to black men? Yes. Would I say that black women are in competition to black men? Absolutely. And I would dare anybody disagree with that. Words matter. But I don't say that. I wouldn't go as far as to say black women are black men's enemy. But what I would say is, yes, black women are antagonistic to black men. Black men are definitely see themselves as a competitor, and they see themselves as an independent group. Those are absolutely true. Enemy is a strong word. And I don't think that's appropriate for what we're dealing with. Because a dude like that, first thing I'm going to ask him, are you having sex with black women? I mean, shit, I don't consider white people an enemy. Are you having sex with black women? Yeah. Why? You consider an enemy. Like, why call in the show? Why call into that show? Except to be hyperbolic. Yeah, I already said you rewind it to see what I thought of the show. If y'all are new to my channel, make sure y'all subscribe. Well, we keep it real even when it hurts. Oh shit, a lot of y'all come in this motherfucker now. 10-second small block. I'm not pulling. JR, no disagree with you. I mean, put it in the chat comment section, and I'll respond to it. Skillmonger people, shout out. I see Jessica X down there. Skillmonger people just don't know. Kevin is nice one out of the group. Shout out to Art of Immore, much appreciated. What's up? Just giving my reaction to that, since we don't often get a chance for him to deal with the dudes. Remind me of the old days. Shout out to She. Did somebody say feeling? Man, that nigga, that nigga, that was the only word in his vocabulary. Like, well, the problem is I feel like. I'm like, damn, nigga, do you even know how to say think? Oh, BDS in this bitch? Good man. I've been binging on you and a gun to play with goddamn. Yeah, man, BDS has one of the best playlists out here. Yeah, man, get gamed up. Hurricane Edward in a bit, absolutely. What's up, Adam Williams? Yeah, man, y'all coming in this motherfucker. Yeah, man, if this wasn't so late, and Jessica, it's gotta be like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning for you. You watching the BBC, aka the British Broadcasting Channel, for y'all that want to be fucking stupid. I asked that because when I used to Uber, the BBC would come on like the news channel and the radio. I said someone would be man, please. I know BGS. But yeah, man, Kevin kept it real. They got Uber driving is not a career. It shouldn't be a comfortable position. I'm not saying it is a career. Jessica X, but let's keep this all the way 100. Let's start, women are definitely having sex and having kids by motherfuckers, that they really shouldn't be. But also, um, as BGS says, in the age of the diesel, if you bringing in money, it don't matter where it's coming from. The question is it money? It still spends. But no, I wouldn't say being an Uber, the gig economy is not a career. I wouldn't say that either. But being a D-boy ain't a career either. That don't stop bitches from fucking him. That does it. I can see him doing it once a month. Yeah, I can see him doing it once a month as well. Just because being an Uber driver is not a career. No, I can't date you. Fuck you, you light-skinned biracial bitch. I bet you Jessica X be pissing people off, man. They be trying to holler at her and she be diplomatically declining. Or is that something in the United States? That's something she come over here. She'll. I don't know if they do that in the UK, but in the United States, yeah, you be triggering motherfuckers. Niggas be getting mad. Yeah, but I did it for 3 years, so I got a lot to say. I can have a lot to say on that with Uber drive. Take those blue pimp simp shoes high. That's funny. Nobody can tell you what a career is when you make it 2,000 a week. I mean, 2,000 a week depends on the area. Miss Jill, I couldn't wait for this. Greetings, chat. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. I haven't seen you around. Much appreciated. I hope you subscribe. But yeah, man. I'll probably I'm sure Jessica will go. I'm sure Jessica will go over it. A lot of people are going to go over it. But this is what I will say, and I want to be very clear about this. anybody that tries to say, oh well, this is representative of what red pill is, y'all could, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm talking about different content creators, y'all could go to hell and go fuck yourself, because the reality is that's not the representative of a lot of red pill dudes, those niggas that called in, because you can tell by what the topic and shit they were talking about. Now some of that shit is representative of some of the stuff, but no. And a lot of people, I already know, are going to try to pull that. YouTube ain't a career either. I'm sure Kevin eat well. Well, the way you look at YouTube is you look at YouTube more like a media company thing, because Glenn and Cameron talks about that. Glenn and Cameron, like, technically, if you look at yourself like your own personal social media agency, and you say, okay, I'm a media company and I do this. Another thing too is the way Kevin would look at it is, or how I would perceive Kevin doing what he's doing on the outside looking in. Kevin is a coach. So when you see people sell products on coaching or consulting and stuff like that, Kevin is an image consultant. That is his career. That is his business. That's what he went into business for himself on. And YouTube is like an aspect of his business. Kind of like when you look at Disney. Disney has the movie division. Obviously Disney Plus now. It has the ride division, their merchandising division. For Kevin, it's his image consultant business. Was obviously his rates are probably going to be a lot higher now because his profile is higher. Then you got the YouTube shit, which is anchored by the show, and then that could spin off into a lot of other things, and opportunities. That's how you have to look at it. So yeah, and shout out to Erica Shauna Williams. YouTube can actually be an anchor of a career if you know how to do it. You don't have to have AdSense, a whole bunch. Like, take Obsidian, for example. Obsidian used his YouTube channel, his media company, which he had outside of YouTube, but YouTube is a force he decided to come back in with. He uses that to sell his books. I mean, there's a lot of different ways I can spin that. I mean, you got people to get paid off of AdSense. AdSense is not only views, but also super chats. So you can spin that off. I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, I could show you some people, but it's a part of it. And then as far as being an Uber driver, I mean, I'm not saying that's a career. I'm not saying that's a career. I'm not saying that's a career. I mean, go to sleep. Well, okay, with high value men, this is my concern. Why is that your concern? When will Kevin get? First of all, like, why? That's retarded to me. Why are you afraid of Kevin getting single mothers wifed up with high value men? Like, that's an emotional concern. First of all, dude, like, for instance, a single mother has a right to pursue whatever they want to pursue. That is their God-given right in the United States of America. And it is up to men to choose whether they want to take that deal or not take that deal. The issue that we had in the manosphere is a lot of information was suppressed in order to create a narrative to basically influence people to take a certain thing. Once we lay all the cards out on the table, if people still decide to do that, that's on them. Kevin's job is not to hook single. Anybody that tries to allude to Kevin's job or goal or aspiration is a hook single mothers up with high value men, you all are being way too emotionally invested in this conversation. Why does women always come up when success is brought up? I don't really understand the question. I will say this: quality of life is defined by health, money, time, freedom, relationships. Women occupy the relationships aspect of that. Also, women are the most difficult for the majority of men to solve. It's the least straightforward. Money, you make more money. You know, you make more money either through entrepreneurship, trading dollars for hours, whatever. That's a linear approach. Increase your skills, increase your money. Health, get in the gym, body game. Those two things, just you either do it or don't do it. Um, Time freedom, what that has to do with being a little, most people don't care about time freedom. They don't think about time freedom. But that's also pretty linear as well. You know, that's something to do with your assets, income, stuff like that. The women is like the hardest thing to solve, and that's in the relationship section of quality of life, which is why so much time is spent on it. Shout out Roger Report. Shout out Roger Report Live. You never, JR, got back to me what you said Kevin's deflected on. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Good. Slowpoke, I don't have an issue with Kevin. I'm not high value. Well, I mean, dude, you should understand something, dude. You should be the best person you can be. I mean, you know, I don't get too caught up in the definition of quote unquote high value. Like, honestly, because, you know, and on my channel, we talk about economic currency and genetic currency. So, for instance, if you're a guy that's like 6'2" or 6 foot, you're in like the top 15, 16% just off that alone. That is a universal beauty marker. So, for women. So, that plus having money. And see, high value man is actually not the same as like select and non select. And so at the end of the day, people get too caught up on wanting to be this or wanting to be that. You should just want to be the best you can be. And truth be told, if you make $50,000 or more, you're in the top 25% of black men. That's facts in the United States. You know, so it's also important to kind of understand perspective. Also, one thing that I like that Kevin said is Kevin said that technically you ain't even supposed to be on your purpose. And now I'm not saying this is true or whether I agree with this or not, but you're not even supposed to be on your purpose until like you're in your 30s, really 35. He said you shouldn't even think about marriage until you're 30, 35 optimally. You know, he said your 20s are really for you to kind of try things and fuck up. I've heard Glendon allude to similar things, by the way, too. So a lot of folks he said, you know, it's a problem putting all this pressure on 25-year-olds like they need to be all of that in a bag of chip. And a lot of these women, here's my thing. If people would ask me what's the solution, this is my solution. Women can do whatever the fuck they want. But as far as men, you are 6% of the population. There is no, even if you're saying I want to have black children because I want my grandkids to look like me, cool. I understand. The reality is like other races of men, they do not limit themselves to their own race when it comes to sexual access. You basically allow women to set the terms or the rules by automatically saying I'm only going to have sex with black women because I love black women. You're a fucking moron. Now, if black women are choosing you, then yeah, go with what you're being chosen. But a lot of y'all, even if y'all want to have black kids, y'all need to open yourselves up so y'all can solve the sexual access problem, because a lot of y'all are not culturally compatible with black women. And that's not saying nothing against black women. They don't like you. And it's a waste of time to change what they like because a lot of them have been psychologically imprinted. And Kevin talked about that with the roughneck. A lot of black women in the last generation or two, they have been psychologically imprinted to want certain type of black men. If you don't fit that stereotype, you're going to have an upward climb. It really doesn't matter what you do. You're still going to have that upward climb. And the best thing to do is if you say you only need to pick one woman to actually have kids with. But in the meantime, are you going to be a fucking monk? And you got a lot of dudes that do that. I don't know. And the Z's don't do that. And that's why they don't tend to have as much investment in that. So I'm not necessarily saying don't deal with ADOS black women. What I'm saying is from a sexual access standpoint, you shouldn't look at that the same way as you look at who you're going to actually settle down with or have a kid with, whether you marry or you cohabitate with. There's a lot of dudes I know that cohabitate with people. A lot of other races, they do this. This is why they'll deal with black women, but they won't like marry black women or have kids with black women. They'll go back to their own. You see some women do this. Jennifer Lopez did that. So it, but you all are imprinted to believe that you're doing something to black women by not giving them attention. I have no problem with black women. I date those black. My brother date those black women, but at the same time, my brothers never. You give a certain type of posture when you put up with shit you shouldn't be putting up with. That's why I can never imagine putting up with a bitch swinging on me. Y'all put up with shit because y'all think y'all don't have no other options. And women can feel how they want to feel about it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I tell them, shit, if niggas ain't shit, go get you a white man. Shout out to Tasha K, who got her African brother. Like, it is what it is. No, if you, that's slow poke. That's, come on, man. Let's. You have never heard nobody come out of their mouth and say, if you're not high value, you a pookie. That's you listening with your feelings. If you want to know my definition of a Pookie and Ray Ray is a non-productive black man. You can be a street dude and not be a Pookie. You can be a roughneck and not be a Pookie. A nigga that got the lease in a bitch's name. Shit like that. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. I hate when people act like they ask questions like they don't know shit. It's really common sense. And I'm not trying to jump on you. I'm just saying. What a lot of guys want is they want to be pookies and be accepted. They want to be non-productive, but they still want pussy. And that's a problem from a community standpoint, because communities don't run that way. I'm trying to get to the bottom. You said that brother went too far with that one. Yeah, I got to go back through all of them. I'm sure Jessica X will do. I'm sure a lot of people are going to do a lot of good streams on it. It's going to be interesting. Good man. He said black women were his enemy, and he doesn't think when he gets money or power, their attitudes will change. But he was earning $45,000 as an Uber driver. Well, shit, I earned about that in North Carolina. Shout out to Mr. Wright for the $5 super chat. What's wrong with driving Uber? How much income from Uber would make it acceptable? Well, it's not okay. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, so I'm gonna pull that up when I get to it. But as far as the dude to say I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I just tell dude, why are you even date other races and be done with it? Like, why the fuck do you even have that kind of emotional energy? Black women are my enemy. Okay, no, it's called you're not culturally compatible with black women, and that's okay. It's okay. The fucking date out. Be done with it. The same thing I would tell a female. If they well, niggas ain't shit. Okay, get you a non-black man and go be happy. End of. Why and see niggas get that way because they want to be accepted. No. Shout out to 22. Let's get the likes up. When you type in the chat, I know you're falling asleep. Oh, that's funny. Meanwhile, you're the only one producing orgasms. Sir, no. I mean, I didn't see that one. I gotta see. Y'all gonna make me want to look at that after I get off this with you all. Don Juan, good man. He said he was the only place. He said that was the only place he dominated. What? Anyway. Man, y'all are killing me with y'all. I'm trying to get paid up on these comments. Y'all are hitting me up. Damn, I'm all the way at the damn. Ed, that's a troll account on boys. Damn, Ed, slow as fuck. Like, what are you talking about? I know that's not Boyce Watkins. That's not what I'm responding to. Oh, nobody starts screen. Nobody's checking for Kevin's callers. They're all for entertainment. Well, I mean, nobody's generally checking for the female callers either that calls in. Take your man to go see Air. You're responding to trolls. Your bedtime. I mean, I'm not responding to trolls. I mean, like if the questions identifies troll questions, would a man in his right mind think driver Uber is suitable for starting a family? Yeah, I'll give you that. Kevin is hard on single mothers. Yeah, I mean, y'all niggas, y'all got these. I can tell y'all don't listen to his content. Y'all got like these irrational fears, and some of y'all need to kind of kill that shit because that drives a lot of shit. Entertainment at best. Okay, like some of y'all. Joe Rogan is from YouTube as well. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Folks will get on it. Oh, I like that breakdown. Yep. Alexander, young women, a still viable option. Xanatos, there are plenty of scumbags that are trying to sell less than broads to on point men. Go after them, but Kevin's one. Thank you. And Xanatos would definitely say that if he was. But nah, well, they're gonna go after because they see Kevin as big. So it's an attention seeking element. So a lot of these dudes are in there are scared. And a lot of y'all need to turn off the YouTube sometimes. Live not working. Is Ed really gonna respond to every comment? Yeah, I do be trying to. Oh, huh, that's funny. Yeah, I know I'm behind. Shout out to Gabe A. Appreciate the super sticker. No, you should be on your purpose as soon as you can learn how to talk. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But I do agree that you should kind of your fuck around time is like 18 to 25. I do think there's certain critical things you need, like make sure your credit is right, make sure you have at least got one skill or something. Um, because I think with black people, their fuck around time is way too long. No, in your 20s, you should have your plan. 25 isn't a baby. I mean, that's what he said. That's what he said, Jessica. I'm going with what he said, but I agree with you. I think 25, you should kind of, I think 25, you should kind of know what you're trying to do. And it's different because it just depends. Like if you talk about professional people, it's different. That's something we're going to have to marinate on. You said I married young. Yeah, gay, but things are starting to change with that because it's corporations starting to, require more certifications or less degrees. We'll see. It's only a couple of cities where you can make that kind of money doing Uber. Like you can make that in and even now you got the pandemic, so I'm not even gonna put that out there. I drove Uber for 3 years, so I mean I'm not gonna hate on it, but I didn't just drive Uber. Uber was a supplement. I ain't that far behind the comments. You said is Mike Rashid gone live? I mean, Mike Rashid ain't. Dude, stop being in here trolling. You know, Moist, like, stop doing that. Yeah, he said you shouldn't be trying to get married until you're 30, like in your early 30s, 35 optimal. He said you shouldn't be on your purpose until like 35. I don't know if I agree with that. I think you need to, but whatever. I ain't gonna. Well, the thing about it is the problem. See, here's the problem, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna end it, and I appreciate it, y'all. Make sure if y'all new here, y'all definitely subscribe. I got some interviews coming up too with some channels I ain't really heard about too. People that emailed me. So here's the thing about that. You know, it depends. If you're on a clear path, it just depends. It really does depend. There are clear paths to success, absolutely. I think the biggest issue is you got people they do trial and error, but the problem is they're not really doing trial and error. What they're doing is they're fucking around. And those are two very different things. You got people that want to find themselves. They want to have their whole phase. Niggas want to be, basically chasing bitches. And before you know it, you snap your fingers, and then niggas are 30 and then they're scrambling. And they haven't really tried a lot. That's the thing. As far as black men, we're going to keep it on black men. They haven't really tried anything, when you could have put 4 years in like the military and done like a military contract or something. Or, and a lot of these niggas will wander around aimless as fuck, or they get caught up by a baby because they bullshitting, and then that completely fucks them up. Get child support. And that's not a lot of dudes, but it happens. So dudes kind of leave themselves open to be, tripped up. Yeah, I agree with that. And a lot of the dudes don't even have basic shit together. Credit fucked up, maybe have baby mama drama, maybe have trouble with the law, or they might have, if they in school, they got massive debt on some bullshit. Maybe they have tried some things and they racked up credit. 'Cause that was my issue. I tried some stuff, but I racked up credit. I racked up debt that I had to pay down. Maybe he did misspeak. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate it, man. Like 202 people, damn near in the middle of the night, 218. I definitely appreciate it. Let me see, is there any more cash apps? Mm-mm. Y'all need to go ahead and check out that O'Shea video with the Ace Hood. Ty can't see his kids. Yo, man, the game had an interesting video too. Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of things that trip people up. Um. Anyway, y'all, it's been great. I appreciate the support, man. Hope to do some collabs with some of y'all later on. And yeah, with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace. Yeah, the debt fucks people up more than anything, I think, especially with the commercialism. Yeah, that shit fucks people up. Buying stuff. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.